In the early 1950s, the Smurl family moved into a large, quiet home in West Pittston, Pennsylvania. The house was old, but it seemed to offer the perfect setting for a fresh start. But as soon as the family settled in, strange things began to happen. At first, it was small, easily dismissible events, a door that wouldn't stay closed, strange noises at night, the feeling of being watched. However, these incidents soon escalated to terrifying levels. The family's dog, a German Shepherd, was the first to react in a way that could not be ignored. It became anxious, growling at empty corners and backing away from certain parts of the house. It didn't take long for the Smurls to notice the source of its distress, the basement. But it wasn't just the dog that was affected. The family began to experience unnerving, unexplainable occurrences. The house became a hotbed for paranormal activity. There were moments when the family would hear the sound of footsteps walking around in the attic or across the floors above them, even though no one was there. Doors would slam shut with no breeze to explain it. Objects would move on their own, shifting in places where they hadn't been moments before. The family also reported an overpowering, foul odor that would drift through the house, sometimes smelling of rotting meat, other times like sulfur or burnt hair. The disturbances grew even more violent and aggressive. The Smurl children were often pushed, scratched, and even thrown across rooms by invisible forces. It wasn't long before the house felt more like a prison than a home, as the family members began to feel hopeless and terrorized. The most frightening encounter occurred when the family realized they were not just being haunted, they were being attacked by something malevolent. Janet Smurl, the mother, woke up one night to feel an immense weight pressing down on her chest. She couldn't breathe, and she could feel an invisible presence in the room. As she tried to cry out for help, a demonic voice whispered directly into her ear, calling her by name, mocking her. This wasn't just a haunting, it was a possession. Desperate for help, the Smurls turned to Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators, who had dealt with some of the most infamous hauntings of their time, including the Amityville Horror. The Warrens arrived at the house, conducted several investigations, and determined that the house was indeed inhabited by an evil spirit, something far more powerful and sinister than they had expected. In the months that followed, the Warrens performed numerous exorcisms on the house, trying to rid the Smurls of the dark entity that had taken hold. Despite their best efforts, the paranormal activity continued for years. The family eventually moved out, but the house's dark reputation lingered. To this day, the Smurl haunting remains one of the most terrifying, documented cases of possession and paranormal activity in the United States, with some people still claiming to experience strange occurrences in the area surrounding the house.